Madam Speaker, distinguished colleagues, base sa desisyon ng komite, parehong insufficient in substance ang De Jesus at Masa et al. Complaints.
With 284 members voting on the affirmative, 8 against, 4 abstention, House Resolution number 746, as well as the findings, conclusions, and recommendations contained in Committee Report number 111 are hereby adopted. The impeachment complaints filed against the President, Ferdinand Bongbong R. Marcos Jr., are hereby dismissed.
At ang sawari ko'y tila paimbabaw na ustisyang mayroon tayo ngayon ay siyang pinaka nakakabahala.
Kung walang tinatago, walang dapat ikatakot. Haharapin mo ang mga tanong, hindi ka magtatago.
Pursuant to Article 9, Section 2 of the Philippine Constitution, I move to consider Committee Report number 111, submitted by the Committee on Justice on House Resolution number 746, and for this purpose, may request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the resolution.
The Secretary General is hereby directed to read the resolution.
House Resolution number 746, resolution dismissing the complaints for impeachment filed by Attorney Andre R. De Jesus and by Liza Largoza Masa, Teodoro A. Casino, Renato Reyes Jr., Attorney Nery Colmenares et al. Against President Ferdinand Bongbong R. Marcos Jr.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize the Chairperson of the Committee on Justice, Representative Attorney Jervil Jinky Beatrix Luistro.
Dahil dito, on the De Jesus complaint, upon a motion to declare insufficient in substance, the committee voted with 42 affirmative votes, 1 negative vote, and 3 abstentions. De Jesus complaint was declared insufficient in substance. On Masa et al. Complaint, upon a motion to declare it sufficient in substance, the motion was defeated with only 7 affirmative votes and 39 negative votes. It was likewise declared insufficient in substance. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, distinguished colleagues, complaints that are fundamentally insufficient in substance must be dismissed, not indulged, for the sake of political theater. In this hall, the interest of the Filipino people must always come first. To do otherwise is to degrade impeachment from a constitutional safeguard into a weapon of harassment. While our rules state that substance is met by a recital of facts and jurisdictional requirements, wag nating kalimutan, impeachment is a sui generis proceeding. It is a class of its own. Our decision reflects the committee's faithful adherence to the strict standards of the 1987 Constitution. It is a definitive declaration that in this hall, the rule of law prevails over the rule of rhetoric. Kaya naman, on behalf of the Committee on Justice, this representation respectfully move for the approval of Committee Report number 111 and the adoption of House Resolution number 746, dismissing the 2 impeachment complaints against President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. I urge my colleagues to defend the integrity of this institution and the sanctity of the impeachment process. The 1987 Constitution has lodged this extraordinary power in us, the duly elected representatives of the Filipino people. Tungkulin nating timbangin kung ang mga akusasyong ito ay may katotohanan o sadyang mapanira lamang. Tayo ang boses ng bawat Pilipino dito sa plenaryo. I urge every member of this House, do not consider this duty as a matter of convenience. Decide with your conscience. Isipin natin ang kapakanan ng bawat Pilipino. Let us prove that in this hall, the interest of the people always comes first, and the rule of law remains supreme. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Gentleman has 2 minutes, and if you need more time, we will cross the bridge
Request for
when it
extension.
comes.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, my dear colleagues, isang makabuluhang hapon sa ating lahat. Ako po ay bumoboto ng no sa committee report na ito dahil sa pasya ng komite na gawing mahirap para sa ordinaryong mamamayan ang proseso ng impeachment. Ang kanilang pasya ay nagsilbing harang sa halip na mabigyang daan ang pagsagot sa hinaing ng maraming Pilipino laban sa pamumuno ng Pangulo na nagdudulot ng kawalan ng tiwala ng publiko. Ang proseso ng impeachment ay dapat manatiling abot kamay sa ating mga kababayan. Marahil ang isa sa mga pinakasagradong tungkulin ng pamahalaan ay ang magbigay ng patas at walang kinikilingang hustisya para sa lahat ng mga mamamayan nito. Hindi lamang ito kawalan ng panig o neutrality, kung hindi ito ay ang pagpanig sa hustisya mismo. At ang sawari ko'y tila paimbabaw na hustisyang mayroon tayo ngayon ay siyang pinaka nakakabahala. Ibinasura ng komite ang mga impeachment complaint batay sa boto ng mga miyembro nito na insufficient in substance ang mga complaints. This sufficiency in substance requirement is met if there is a recital of facts constituting the offense, charge, and determinative of the jurisdiction of the committee. Sa talakayan pa lang ng komite, hindi na magkasundo ang mga miyembro sa kahulugan ng recital of facts. Ang komite mismo ay hindi magkasundo sa definition ng ultimate facts na siyang mismong usapin sa pagdetermine ng sufficiency in substance. Ang mga nag-endorso ay nagpahayag na dapat ang mga facts, kung ito man ay maging totoo, kapag umabot sa paglilitis na sa impeachment court ay dapat na umayon sa reklamo laban sa impeachable officer. Unfortunately, this line drawn from the discussions reflected a difference in understanding among the members of the Committee on Justice. Mas mainam na sa impeachment court sa Senado, timbangin ang katotohanan at kabuuan ng ebidensya, hindi sa Justice Committee. Masyadong mataas ang requirement na hinihingi ng komite. Inahilin tulad ng komite sa isang legal proceeding ang paghahanap ng statement of facts. Ang naiwang tanong sa usaping ito ay kung in-apply nga ba ng komite ang tamang threshold o standard nung idineklarang hindi sufficient in substance ang mga complaints. Isinantabi ng komite ang mga complaints at kaakibat nito ay isinantabi nila ang pagiging political process ng impeachment na dapat bukas sa lahat sa mga abogado at hindi abogado. Ang pasya ng komite ay walang pagpapahalaga sa tawag ng ordinaryong mamamayan para sa pagpapanagot sa mga public officers. Colleagues, Article 11 of the Constitution vests in this House the solemn duty and the exclusive power to initiate impeachment. That power is not to protect any person. It is to protect the Republic. It is to ensure that when serious charges are pleaded with a factual recital, the constitutional process moves forward to the proper forum where truth can be tested with due process. Let us not adopt a dismissal built on the wrong threshold and let the constitutional process proceed in the matter the Constitution and our own rules command. With this, I vote no on this committee report. Maraming salamat po, Ginang Speaker.
The Honorable Edgar Erice has 2 minutes for his manifestation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Bago po ako magsalita, kinukonfirm ko lang po yung sinabi ni Representative Tino Pero hindi lang po ako, marami kami na maraming congressman dito. Kasama doon, ayoko na lang sabihin kung sino. Madam Speaker, the Committee on Justice committed a grave abuse of discretion in dismissing the Lisa Masa et al. Impeachment complaint against President Marcos. It violated Section 5, Rule 3 of our own impeachment rules, which is very clear. Sufficiency in substance requires only a recital of facts and their nexus to an impeachable offense. Nothing more, no proof yet, no authentication yet, no trial yet. But what did the committee do? It conducted a mini trial. It imposed a higher, unauthorized standard demanding personal culpability, sworn proof, and even evidentiary authentication at a stage where the rules do not require them. In doing so, the committee cut off the complainant's right to present evidence and testimony in the proper forum, which is the impeachment hearing. Kaya po hindi na-present yung ebidensya. This does not just violate the rules, it undermines the very purpose of impeachment, which is public accountability. When Congress blocks the presentation of evidence, Congress blocks the search of truth. We have seen this pattern before. In the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, Senator Lacson himself revealed links involving the Bersamins, yet no full investigation followed. The truth was mentioned, then buried. Now we see it again in this House. In the ICI, key commissioners resigned because they knew the truth was being suppressed. When the institutions meant to investigate corruption are prevented from doing their job, resignation becomes a form of protest. And let us be clear, covering up the largest corruption scandal of our time will not protect the economy. It will weaken it. The poorest Filipinos, those already at the margins, will pay the price. At this point, we cannot expect genuine reform from the Marcos administration. They are not addressing the problem. They are only managing the fallout. There is no capacity for self-reflection, no appetite for real reform. The ICI became a talking point. The Independent Commission law became a talking point. The reform agenda became a talking point. The real goal is survival until the end of the term, not improvement, not reform, not accountability. Dribble here, slow roll there, cover up today, paper over tomorrow. The next 2 years will be directionless, marked by political deal-making to survive at the expense of the people and the economy. As 2028 approaches, the President faces only 3 paths. First, prepare to be prosecuted by his successor. Second, go into exile like his father. Or third, remain in power through chacha or extra constitutional means, a frightening prospect. That is why I vote no on this committee report. The consequences of this mistake are enormous, not just for impeachment, but for democracy, the economy, and the future of the Filipino people. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Majority Leader. The Honorable Tino has 2 minutes. Please proceed.
Maraming salamat, Madam Speaker. Nais ko pong i-address ang mga statement o ng mga membro ng mayorya, both sa Justice Committee at sa publiko, sa media, no, na hindi raw napatunayan ng mga endorser ng complaint yung mga aligasyon laban sa Pangulo na betrayal of public trust. Wala daw ebidensyang naipakita. Una, hindi pa po ito ang yugto, yung determination of sufficiency of stance. Hindi pa ito ang yugto ng pagpapakita at pagkilatis ng ebidensya. Hindi po yan ang trabaho ng mga miyembro ng komite sa puntong ito. Gayunpaman, nais po nating idiin na sapat-sapat ang allegation of facts sa complaint para sa sufficiency in substance. meron pong ebidensya sa lahat, lalo na dun sa ikatlong bahagi ng complaint, ang aligasyon na direktang lumahok at nakinabang si Pangulong Marcos sa flood control corruption sa pamamagitan ng pag-utos ng insertion sa BICAM at pagtanggap ng kickback o commitment mula rito. Sa partikular, nasa complaint ang aligasyon na ayon kay Yusek Bernardo, nasa 100 billion na insertion na inutos ng Pangulo, 52 billion ang kanyang direktang hinawakan at mula rito ay nagbigay siya para sa Pangulo ng 8 billion na commitment. Nasa complaint po yan. Binanggit sa complaint, ang papel hindi lamang ni Yusek Trajib Olayvar, kundi pati ni Yusek Adrian Bersamin. Sino po ba si Adrian Bersamin? Officially, PLLO, Presidential Legislative Liaison, pero lumalabas unofficially siya ang runner, bagman at disbursing officer ng Pangulo na tumatanggap at gumagastos ng kickback sa utos ng Pangulo. Merong record ng komunikasyon sa pagitan ni Yusek Adrian Bersamin at ni Pangulong Marcos mula December 2024 hanggang July 2025. Kabilang dito ang mensahe noong Marso 2025 ng pagtanggap ng delivery ng 8 billion mula kay Bernardo na pinarating kay Pangulo. Kasama ang acknowledgement o tugon ng Pangulo na okay. Sabi po sa mensahe, complete na po ang 7.122 delivery sa akin. Tapusin ko po ang computation today. Kalakip nito rin ang detalyadong computation ng mga pinaggastusan ng 8 billion na kickback. Kasama po rito, pangunahin ang gastos para sa mga kandidatong sinuportahan ng Pangulo noong nakaraang eleksyon. Kasama rin ang gastos sa mga TBAD para sa eleksyon. Pambayad ng 6 million pesos para sa dayuhang pollster na si Perun na ginagamit na election consultant ng Malacanang at 68 million pesos bilang talent fee para sa isang performer na ginamit ng administrasyon sa kampanya. Nagpatuloy ang komunikasyon na ito hanggang July 2025. On July 10, pinaabot ni Yusek Bersamin na may delivery siya ng 2 billion pesos para sa Pangulo, sa Nara residence sa Forbes Park at sa sagot ng Pangulo. Sasabihan ko si June Baris. This is July 10. The President appears to be receiving kickbacks days before he went to Congress. Humarap siya rito at nagsabing, mahiya naman kayo. Sino po ang dapat na mahiya? Bukod kay Yusek Bersamin, may kopya po ng record ng komunikasyong ito ang isa pang miyembro ng kapulungang ito, si Congressman Leandro Libiste, at pinarating sa amin, sa ilan sa aming mga kasapian dito, kasama si Congressman Erice. Hawak din ito ng isang LGU official na pinagkakatiwalaan ng mga Bersamin. Sa madaling sabi, may malakas na ebidensya sa aligasyon na may alam na alam ng Pangulo ang corruption sa flood control. Direktang lumahok siya at tumanggap siya ng kickback mula rito. At nasa kapulungan ngayon ito kung boboto para patayin ng impeachment at para tuluyan ng maprotektahan ng Pangulo sa investigasyon at paglilitis na tanging magagawa sa pamamagitan ng impeachment. Ngunit nasa kapangyarihan ng plenaryong ito kung boboto ang kahit 1/3 lamang para ituloy ang proseso ng impeachment hanggang sa paglilitis.
Thank you very much,
Meron
Honorable
ba
Pino.
ritong titindig para malantad ang buong katotohanan ng flood control? Meron ba ritong handang panagutin si Pangulong Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos? Ano man ang mangyari, patayin man ang impeachment ngayong hapon, lalabas at lalabas ang katotohanan. Mananagot ang Pangulo sa taong bayan. Maraming salamat.
Thank you
Madam
very
Speaker.
much. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker,
Madam Speaker, thank you, but under the rules, Section 120, it's supposed to be 3 minutes, not 2 minutes. Under the rules, Section 120.
Because it's an impeachment proceeding, Honorable Laila de Lima, and it's not a legislative.
But we don't have a specific provision on impeachment with respect to the time limit as to impeachment. So under the rules, it's 3 minutes. Anyway, Madam Speaker, I will exert best effort. With the premature dismissal of the Maza et al. Impeachment complaint, the lingering question is, why the rush to end the process before the public could even witness it unfold? This brings me to the broader context. After the President's SONA, he spoke strongly about corruption in flood control projects, he condemned contractors, he announced the creation of an Independent Commission on Infrastructure, or ICI. Investigations were conducted and still going on. Some arrests followed. For a moment, many Filipinos felt a sense of relief, almost hope, that perhaps government was finally prepared to confront the machinery of corruption that has drained public funds for decades. But that momentum did not last. Instead of deeper disclosure, we saw hesitation. Instead of clarity, we saw the public left waiting. And then came the allegations made by former Congressman Zaldico. Even if his statements were not under oath, they were serious enough to damage public trust. They were serious enough to raise new questions. And they were serious enough to demand an official response that goes beyond press releases and political spin. Hindi pwedeng idahilan na hindi makikiisa si Zaldico dahil ayaw niyang umuwi ng bansa, kaya mahirap patunayan ang mga alegasyon niya laban sa Pangulo. Hindi nangangahulugan ito na titigil tayo sa paggawa ng paraan para arestuhin at paharapin siya sa mga investigasyon at kaso laban sa kanya. The House, or this House, had an opportunity to respond with seriousness. We had an opportunity to show that Congress does not flinch when allegations reach high office, but instead, we chose the quickest exit. Malalim ang implikasyon nito. Hindi mabubura ang nangyaring pagboto ng Kamara ang mga pagdududa. Lalo lang nitong paparamihin ang mga tanong. It does not protect credibility. It weakens it. It does not clear the President's name. Walang closure. It ensures that the questions will haunt him for the rest of his term because public doubt does not disappear. When we refuse to examine it, it stays, it lingers, it hardens, and it becomes part of political memory. What we dismiss today will not stay buried. Tulad ng mga ghost projects na pinakamalaking scam sa ating kasaysayan, ang hilaw na pagbasurang ito sa impeachment ay multo na babalik ng babalik at ibabato ng ibabato sa Pangulo. It will return in the public conversation, in the media, in the streets, and in every moment when this administration asks the people to trust it. Maganda ba ito para sa administrasyon at lalo na para sa ating bansa? Madam Speaker, I voted no because I believe accountability should never be treated as an inconvenience. I voted no because our people deserve better than silence dressed up as procedure. And I voted no because I refuse to be part of a decision that will be read, rightly or wrongly, as fear. Kung inosente ang Pangulo, pinakamainam na dumaan siya sa tamang proseso na magpapatunay nito sa paraang kumpleto at hayagan. Sa halip, pinili ng Kamara na ibasura agad ito. Nang dumating ang mabibigat na paratang laban sa Pangulo, yumuko at pinalampas lang ito ng Kamara. Is this the legacy we want to define this House? That's why, Madam Speaker, I voted no.
Thank you very much, Honorable Laila de Lima, Majority Leader.